If you're recently divorced and thinking about dating again, there's one critical mistake that could sabotage your chances of finding lasting love. And most people make it within the first few months of being single. In today's video, I'm going to share the decompression rule that changed everything for me and my clients, plus give you a powerful exercise to ensure your next relationship is everything your marriage wasn't. Hi there. I'm Soetebier, and I've been helping midlife singles navigate dating and relationships for over a decade now. I'm also an author and someone who's been exactly where you are right now, divorced, uncertain about the future, and wondering if it's possible to find real love again at this stage of life. I want you to know that what I'm about to share with you isn't just theory from textbooks or generic advice you'll find everywhere else. This comes from my own experience going through divorce, from working with hundreds of clients over the years, and from making plenty of mistakes along the way so you don't have to. Dating post-divorce often generates a lot of excitement for the possibilities of better things to come. Think about it. Going through a divorce is never fun and very often emotionally traumatic. When the documents are all signed and you're officially single again, there's a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. I know there was for me. Yes, I know there are other details that need to be resolved, but for the most part, the hardest part of this journey is over. I remember shortly after my divorce, I was extremely optimistic about finding my soulmate relationship. Like almost everyone else I've talked to and coached in the past 12 years, there's a decompression time needed. It's a time to reflect on what happened to the marriage you thought was going to last forever. It's a time to reflect on who you are now. And it's a time to think about the future. As I was going through my divorce, I met a woman that had been divorced for a while. We agreed to meet after my divorce was final. A week or so after my divorce was official, I asked her out. She declined, stating, "You're not ready to date yet. You need to take a year off and then call me." I dismissed this as a lame excuse not to follow through on our conversation about meeting after my divorce was final, and I moved on. On another occasion, I met a group of women and the conversation turned to marital status. On average, the 4 women had been divorced about 5 years. I was only a few months out from my divorce, and when they learned that, they labeled me as fresh meat. We laughed, but there was a lot of truth in that label. I would go on to learn that the first woman was really on target when she told me to take a year for myself. One evening, about 13 months after my divorce, I was talking to my best friend. We were laughing and cutting up when he paused and said, "I haven't heard you sound this good in a long, long time." He was right, and so was the woman I mentioned earlier. At the time, she knew something I didn't. I needed time to decompress and to start finding myself again. I started to recognize how important it was to take time for myself and to find who I was. You see, we all make changes for our spouse. We adapt. We morph to try to make the marriage work. Over time, it's easy to get lost and not remember who we are. Remember what your goals were. Remember what hobbies you enjoyed or what made you laugh. Now, let me share something that might surprise you. There's a general rule of thumb I've observed over the years. 1 month of decompression for every year you were married. So, if you were married for 10 years, consider taking 10 months before seriously dating again. 20 years? Maybe 20 months. Now, before you panic and think I'm asking you to become a hermit, let me be clear. This isn't a hard and fast rule. Everyone's situation is different. Some people need more time, some need less. But here's what I've noticed in my coaching practice. Men typically jump back into dating way too quickly, often within days or weeks of their divorce being final. They're eager to fill that void, to prove they're still attractive, to avoid being alone with their thoughts. Women, on the other hand, generally do a better job of taking time for themselves. They might focus on their children, reconnect with friends, pursue hobbies they'd put aside, or simply enjoy their own company for a while. Of course, there are plenty of exceptions to this pattern, but it's something I see consistently. Why does this matter? Because when you rush back into dating before you've done the inner work, before you've rediscovered who you are outside of your marriage, you're more likely to repeat the same patterns that led to your divorce in the first place. During this decompression period, something beautiful happens. You start to remember who you were before you became half of a couple. Maybe you loved hiking but gave it up because your ex-spouse wasn't interested. Perhaps you were social and outgoing, but you gradually became more reserved to accommodate your partner's preferences. Or maybe you had dreams and ambitions that got pushed aside for the sake of the marriage. This is your time to reclaim those parts of yourself. It's time to figure out what brings you joy, what makes you feel alive, what your values really are when you're not trying to blend them with someone else's. And here's something crucial. This rediscovery process directly impacts your future dating success. When you know who you are, when you're comfortable in your own skin, when you've dealt with the emotional baggage from your marriage, you become a much more attractive partner. Not just physically attractive, but emotionally and mentally attractive as well. Now, this brings me to one of the most important exercises I give all my coaching clients. And I want you to do this right now. Whether you're ready to date or still in that decompression phase, I want you to create what I call your must-have list. This isn't a wish list or a nice-to-have list. This is your non-negotiable traits and characteristics that your next partner absolutely must possess. These are the deal breakers, the fundamentals that you'll not compromise on. Some people have 5 must-haves, others have 50. The number doesn't matter. What matters is that these are truly non-negotiable for you. Let me give you some examples to get you thinking. Maybe one of your must-haves is emotional availability. You need someone who can communicate openly about feelings and be present in the relationship. Maybe it's financial responsibility after going through a divorce. You want someone who has their financial life together. Perhaps it's family values. You need someone who prioritizes family relationships the same way you do. Your must-haves might include things like honesty, loyalty, a sense of humor, physical fitness, shared spiritual beliefs, similar life goals, or emotional maturity. They might be very specific to your situation. Maybe you need someone who's comfortable with your adult children, or someone who shares your passion for travel, or someone who's also been through a divorce and understands that journey. Take a moment right now and start writing down your must-haves. Don't worry about being too picky or having too many. This is about knowing yourself and knowing what you absolutely need for a happy relationship. The beautiful thing about creating this list during your decompression period is that it comes from a place of clarity rather than reaction. You're not creating it because you're angry about what your ex didn't provide, or because you're desperately trying to fill a void. You're creating it because you know yourself, you know what works for you, and you know what doesn't. When you eventually do start dating again, this list becomes your North Star. It keeps you from settling for less than you deserve because you're lonely or because someone is showing you attention. It helps you recognize red flags early, before you're emotionally invested. And it helps you make better choices about who gets your time, energy, and emotional investment. I've seen too many people jump back into dating without doing this work, and they end up in relationships that are just variations of what they left. They wonder why they keep attracting the same type of person, why they keep having the same problems, why their relationships keep failing in similar ways. The answer is simple. They haven't changed the pattern. They haven't done the inner work to understand what they really need and want. They haven't taken the time to become the person who attracts the kind of partner they actually want to be with. I know it's hard to be patient when you're lonely, when you see happy couples everywhere, when well-meaning friends are trying to set you up. But I want you to think of this decompression time as a gift you're giving to your future self and your future partner. You're giving yourself the gift of clarity, self-awareness, and emotional health. You're giving your future partner the gift of a whole, complete person who knows what they want and what they have to offer. You're giving your future relationship the gift of a solid foundation built on self-knowledge rather than neediness or reaction. Remember, the goal isn't just to find someone to date. The goal is to find the right someone, someone who complements the person you've become, someone who shares your values and your vision for the future, someone who meets those must-haves on your list. Dating after divorce at midlife is different from dating in your 20s or 30s. You have more life experiences, you know yourself better, and you have less time to waste on relationships that aren't right. This is actually an advantage, not a disadvantage. You don't have to settle for good enough. You don't have to compromise on the things that really matter to you. You can be selective, you can be intentional, and you can create the kind of relationship you truly want. But it all starts with giving yourself the time and the space to heal, to grow, and to rediscover who you are. It starts with creating that must-have list and committing to honor it. It starts with understanding that the right person will appreciate the whole, complete person you've become during this decompression period. If you're watching this and thinking about your own post-divorce dating journey, I want you to know that it's possible to find love again. Not just any love, but the right love. The kind of love that enhances your life rather than complicating it. But, like anything worthwhile, it requires intention, patience, and the right guidance. That's why I've created a free guide called The 5 Biggest Dating and Relationship Mistakes and How to Avoid Them. This guide will help you navigate the common pitfalls that trip so many people up who are dating after divorce. In this guide, you'll discover the mistakes that keep you stuck in the wrong relationships, how to recognize red flags early, and most importantly, how to position yourself to attract the kind of partner who will truly value and appreciate you. To get your free copy, simply click the link in the description below. Your future self will thank you for taking this step. And if you're ready to dive deeper into how midlife dating is different and how to do it right the second time around, make sure you watch my next video, Why Smart Midlife Singles Date Differently and Avoid Divorce Again. I'll share the specific strategies that successful midlife daters use to create lasting relationships. You can find the link to the video in the description below. Remember, you deserve a love that's better than what you left behind. But first, you need to become that person who can create and sustain that kind of love. Take the time you need to do the work and trust the process. Your extraordinary relationship is out there, and they're worth the wait. I'll see you in the next video.